Tshepo. They spoke about him earlier on. Tshepo Mohlala, founder of Tshepo Jeans. How many of you are familiar with that product? The company, the brand. Tshepo? Okay, you don't know. But today you will know. For those of you who don't know. A lifestyle brand founded in South Africa. Tshepo offers a range of bespoke denim clothing and ready-to-wear products. His jeans, his products, quality. He's with us in the building. If you've been following his journey, you'll know that he's gone through some tough times. But he's bounced back. Fanako Lokshini, if you go to Hyde Park, you will find Tshepo jeans in Hyde Park. From the townships to the suburbs. Started from the bottom, now we're here. He's with us in the building, ladies and gentlemen, to share his story. He just came. Let's show him love. Let's show him some energy. Let's appreciate him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the one and only. Let's get up on our feet. One of our own. Let's celebrate him. Let's put our hands together for Tshepo, founder of Tshepo Jeans. How you doing, brother? You well, my brother? I'm good. Welcome. Thank you. The stage is yours. Feel free. Feel free. Show the love. Okay, let's do this. We're going to give you a gift. I love the love and the energy. Talk about resilience. 1, 2. 1, 2. Can you hear? I will get it right. 1, 2. Testing mic. 1, 2. Good. My brother, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, everybody. Yo, I wasn't expecting this, eh? Yo, and money, you guys, nani. Damn. I told Bulelani last night, actually, I just came from a funeral. My grandmother's sister passed on. She's a younger sister in the family, and, and I was like, Bulelani, I'm going to run late. But meaning you keep his tomb endlini, so ningang hacking to his tomb. Yeah, such an emotional time in our family. But like, when I was at home, I realized one thing. I was like, life is beautiful, man. It's beautiful that today, money, uncle and gonna keep his tomb endlini, gonna keep a 5,000 yana for tengama veggie, and it's a blessing, and I was sitting and just watching, and I'm like, Mudimu umpile, right? Mudimu unkhetile, and life yang goma, it's scarce, For those who don't know me, my name is Tshepo Mohlala. I'm from a township in the far east of Johannesburg called Takalani. I don't know if you guys know, it's the dusty, dingy. When we were growing up, it was dangerous. I think in the early 2000s, there was a stat that came out. Most people who were killed in South Africa were from Tsakane. So I'm from that world. Mang driver from the funeral, a friend of mine said, LSG, beang hambe nami emngcwabeni. So say LSG says, Taps, how was it like growing up? And I was like, hey, not growing up, Joe, I was that guy who was, I didn't know how to play soccer. I tried to play soccer. I loved soccer so much. I love Orlando Pirates. I tried to play soccer. So I failed at that. I tried playing cricket. I failed at that. I couldn't make kites. So I was actually a weird child. I was one of those kids who were weird. And I think it was because of my grandmother. Ukoka made me a weird kid. She didn't want us to play in the streets, so basically the whole time, So my routine was school, come back home, or church. So I didn't have time to play around with other kids. And in that moment, I spent so much time on my own. I spent so much time dreaming about the life that I want to build. Everybody wants to be that guy who's Kellogg's. Kellogg's has a huge factory, Spring, so everybody wants to work at Kellogg's because like my cornflakes every day. So and you know, and it was everybody's dream. But like for me, I always knew that I was destined for something big. I always knew that I was destined for something greater than myself. My grandmother is a wordsmith. She's good with words and stories, and she always said to me and to all of us, Ently in Guti, you guys are gonna be big. You guys are gonna be great. She always gave us words of affirmation, and even my work at what I do in my office, I've got words of affirmation because I believe words are such a powerful thing that when you say something over and over and over and over again, it starts becoming part of your life. I was destined to be a king. I was destined to be great, and I always thought that I'm going to be something great. So I started Tshepo Jeans in 2015. It was crazy time for me. 2013, I started a brand with a couple of friends of ours called African Swiss, and showcased at SA Fashion Week. We were called Kings of Denim, and then we opened our first store in downtown Johannesburg, a small street. It was a small street, you know, and it was pumping. You know, I was 24, I was 22 at the time. It was pumping, and small money came in, a little bit of fame came in. And the visions that the boys and I had started separating. We're no longer the same, you know. And one of the guys said something very detrimental. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna let everything go, and I'm gonna leave. So the business was making good money at the time. We had, I think there was like 5-6 of us in the company, and I left everything behind. So I went back from zero. Hungry, broke, depressed, young, full of energy. Spent about 7 months trying to figure out what do I actually want to do. And in that 7 months, I think I spent most of the time being in the club, or going to cafes, or going to fashion shows, or going to places. And the one time that changed my life, a friend of mine was Buddha. We all grew up together. I don't know if you guys know Skinny Spoo Socks. And at the time, Skinny Spoo Socks was like at the height of young South African designers, fashion, selling from Mikasi to the burbs. You know, Spuda was at the top, and now I'm like, damn, I'm at my lowest. And so Spuda and I went to this event, it's HEQ. So coming out from HEQ, let's get Uber, Semnand, you know, and I say to Spuda, hey dog, I am so depressed. I have no idea what I have to do with my life. Angifuna ukubuyela ekhaya, angifuna ukubuyela ekhaya. Because when I decided to become a fashion designer, and everybody warned me, Uguchi, do not do that. And you know, coming from a township, being a fashion designer fashion designers are not those people who actually make money in a way. You know, it's like you end up with like a small garage. You make money in December when there's a wedding, otherwise you're not gonna make money. So my family was against me being a fashion designer. So I tell Spoo, I'm like, yo, Spoo, dog, man, I'm depressed, Joe. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm at the lowest of my lowest. Spoo is like, Tshepo, you Tshepo the chain maker, and go for it, dog. And from that moment, every day of my life, I spent it writing Tshepo the chain maker everywhere. You know, like I wrote it on the couch, I wrote it everywhere. You know, Mama Masesi, and remember when you were writing Lika was here, or, you know, I was that guy. I was writing Tshepo everywhere so that it can be embedded in me. And I started writing something big is coming, something big is coming, something big is coming. For a very long time, I was dating this amazing girl, and she says to me, hey, Tseps, I can see you are so obsessed with this thing of becoming this designer, this denim designer. I've got access to a loan of 8,000 Rand, and if you want it, we can go and get it. So we went and got the loan, 8,000 Rand, and that's how I actually started my business. With a small loan, I went to buy fabric at downtown Joburg, created a first range of jeans. I called them the Presidential Fit, posted on social media, posted my story on Facebook, and people started sharing my story. It took me about 7-8 months to sell 100 jeans. Most painful time of my life. It was tough, you know, but I kept on telling my story over and over and over and over again, and until like it started popping. And through collaborations and through partnerships and through people telling, you know, like I met Bulelani years ago in a space like this. And I was telling my story. I was like, yo, I'm a designer. I've got jeans in the car. And if anyone wants to buy some jeans, I've got them in the car. So I was that guy. And, you know, that whole year, 2015, from 2015, 2016, I was selling through Facebook, Instagram, you would DM me. Luckily in 2017, I met this amazing man, and he gives me a call. He sends me an email. He's like, yo, my name is Rob, and I'm from Nando's, and I would like to meet you, So I go to his office in downtown Joburg. Mangfika office, and I'm like, hey, I've got a meeting with this guy called Rob. They're like, hey, sorry, Rob doesn't have an office here. I'm like, shit, who the fuck was I speaking to? Excuse for my language. And so Rob, they're like, okay, cool. If you have his number, call him, try to locate him. He is around the building, but he doesn't have an office. So I call this guy. I'm like, yo, I'm at the entrance. They say you don't work here. What's going on, dog? He's like, no, I'm coming. As he comes, introduces himself. We spend time together. 2 months later, I find out he's the founder of Nando's. He introduces me to a place called Victoria Yards. Victoria Yards is it's Buginda Yakdala, where they used to wash nappies and wash. It was a laundry, an old laundromat, and then became a place where if you want to buy Georgia, you'll find it there. It became that place. So what the guys did was to gentrify the area in Petrums in downtown Joburg. It's like and their whole mandate was, how do you gentrify an area without kicking people out? And is working with businesses that can employ people in the community. So I loved their value proposition when they told me the whole pitch. I was like, please put me in. I want to take the place. I want to take your office space. So I choose an office space. I think it was in October 2017. I pick an office space, and then I start traveling around with Standard Bank. Excuse me, Nedbank, for mentioning the other bank. I'm sorry. So I'm traveling around with Standard Bank. They took us to Cape Town, wherever around the country as fashion designers, and they were training us, on business, And I think the most important thing in any business is sometimes you don't realize you don't need the most fanciest logo. You need the right business operations. You need the right admin. You need to have a postal address. You need to have an email. You need to have your admin set in place. And also for me as a creative things look like they are nice. They are nice to have, but without the admin and the real business, which is like 70-80% of what really makes money, is the boring stuff, not the fun stuff. And so they were taking us around the country. I remember this one time, so we in Cape Town in a 5-star hotel. I've got minus 64 Rand in my account at the time. The owner of the place calls me in Victoria. I was like, hey, Taps, your place is ready. You can come and occupy the space. And there I am, super depressed. I start picking my phone up. I call people, I call friends around. And I'm in you owe me, please. So I'm calling everybody who owes me to pay me. And I'm also trying to sell stuff. This one guy gives me a call on a Tuesday morning. He's like, hey, Taps, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, actually, things are not okay. I need to move in at Victoria Yards. And it's going to be my first office space. And I do not have money to pay rent. And I promised these guys the world. I pitched myself as this amazing entrepreneur, and I've made it in the street. And I'm not you. He's like, okay, cool, send me your banking details. I send him my banking details. Within a couple of hours, he sends me 50,000 Rand. I take that whole 50K, I pay rent. So I'm back to zero. Call people. And then this one guy, says, hey, Mtsepana, man, my dad used to own a factory called Limpopo. Let me give a call to my dad and let me see what we can do. So his dad is like, no, I've got the machines. They're chilling in the storage. The machine. I do not have money. This guy takes his own car. He drives to Limpopo. He finds machines. He brings them through to Victoria Yards. And honestly, that's how my business started. In 2018, my business really started taking off. And for me, what I've learned is, over the past couple of years, what I've learned in business, and the biggest thing is relationships are so important. Being an entrepreneur, you are playing in a very lonely space. I presume that majority of the people who are here, and everyone here, is you are an entrepreneur, or you are working for an entrepreneur, or you are in business, and you understand being an entrepreneur is lonely. It's very tough. There's days where you're gonna make money. There's days where you're gonna lose money. And my experience was always find the right people around you to have the conversations. Those conversations where you always have a person that you can call and talk to. Sometimes your family may not be the right people. Sometimes your friends may not be the right people, but find yourself in a space where you can cultivate being a true entrepreneur, where you can cultivate learning. One of my business partners now, I've got a business partner, and one of the biggest things that I've learned from my business partner when he came on board, he said to me when I was looking for money, the business was growing 2018, and at some point we're trending on social media, and I wanted to go very big. And this guy is my friend. And I was like, yo, this is what I'm looking for, a business partner. I'm looking for somebody to put in money into the business. He says one thing to me, is like, whoever's going to put money in your business, if you want 2 million, they must have 20. Because in business, money runs out. And in fashion, money runs out. And fashion is one of those businesses that takes. If you're a fashion designer, you just know this business just takes money, Joe. Like, you spend over and over and over and over and over again. It is so painful. Sometimes you're born into a and you have to be patient with the game. I think for us, we're lucky that we came into a world where South Africans are starting to become more patriotic about buying local, about things that are made by us for us. And Tshepo came out at the time where we are starting to have those conversations. Still today, for me, we are still in a place where if you're wearing a Tshepo t-shirt, a person's going to call you Tshepo. And I know, for all my customers, there's this lady walks into my shop, is like, hey, Tshepo, kwena Tshepo? I'm like, yeah, I can Tshepo. Otherwise, you wear a man. Every day when I wear your t-shirt, I need to explain that I am not Tshepo, And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when people say, when you wear a Tshepo t-shirt and you're walking in the street, they call you Tshepo, and you give somebody a moment to hey, let me teach you. Tshepo is actually a brand, and then they follow us. It's a very great way of marketing, I think. I think it's genius. What we did with Tshepo is genius. If I can blow my own horn. But yeah, I think moral of my story is from starting, I started with nothing. And throughout my journey, I've always let myself learn. I've allowed other people to come into my life. I've allowed other people to tell me. I will always stay humble in my process. I am raised by 3 strong women, my mom, my aunt, and my grand. My grand is a storyteller, and I've always wanted to be a storyteller like her, and that's what we do at Tshepo Jeans. We tell stories through the designs that we make. We've got the crown, which is one of our brand symbol, and it represents the 3 women in my life who raised me and who made me the type of man that I am today. The other day I was driving in the street, and I was like, damn, you are Tshepo. Shit. That's amazing, dog. I had a moment, and for me, it's an ode to the people who played a very important part in my life. My mother was a domestic worker working here at CSIR when we were kids, and she would take a train first thing in the morning at 4 o'clock, leaves the house, comes back at 10 at night. And from her, I learned one of the most valuable lessons is patience and resilience. Working as a domestic worker is probably not the nicest job to ever have. But when you've got kids to take care of, you'll do whatever it takes. And she raised us, 1,500. My aunt was the first person in our neighborhood to go to university. She studied at the University of Pretoria. And in the early 2000s, she was the first person to bring Ilento, the jean on jean. And when I saw what P. Diddy was wearing, and then my aunt is wearing it, and I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable, it's amazing. And I want to be in that world where I can inspire people and be fashionable and set trends. And that's what I've learned. And throughout my whole journey, I've given my life and my ode, I've paid my ode to them, and everything that I do is an ode to them. In 2020, during lockdown, when the world was shutting down, Tshepo business really took off. We created a mask, my poster on Twitter, and it went crazy. Within a day, I think we sold over 1,000 masks, and that changed our business. It saved my life. It saved our business for a good 6 months. We're just making a mask. And from there, I started doing pop-ups in people's houses because like people are not going to shops anymore. People, we're all staying in our own space, not knowing what we're gonna do. People are losing jobs. We started doing pop-ups, and at the top of, at the peak of COVID, when I think one of the biggest strains was coming, we opened our first shop, our first retail store in Hyde Park, which is one of the biggest or the most luxurious space in Sandton. It's a very exclusive mall in Sandton where we are next to the greats. Our neighbors are Burberry, Skins, Mont Blanc, Jewelers, Browns, and all the international brands. And for me, I always know that I'm gonna create a brand that's as great as Burberry, that can sell in the same street as Burberry and all these guys. And Tshepo is as good as that. Today we're 20 people in, and we're growing small and small. I'm super excited about what's happening next. We're opening we're gonna open a couple of stores in South Africa this year and next year. But I'm more excited about taking the brand internationally. We're doing our first pop-up in Amsterdam in October. So everybody's invited. You can book a flight. And come and support me in Amsterdam, and for me, I think the biggest, the vision now is redefining African craftsmanship. For international people, when they think of African luxury, they think of, or when they don't think, there's no African luxury, if I may say so, right? There is Magriza, who's doing amazing, who's also redefining that. But when I see most of our customers who come to Victoria Yards, who are international, when they think of African craftsmanship, they think of that zebra on the street, that thing, And for me, I feel like as an African fashion designer, I have an opportunity to change the narrative of what it means to be an African, of what African luxury is. The quality of our work, I think, is up there, can compete with the great, and we've proven and tested it. So that's my journey for the next couple of years, is to redefine it and to do it on the biggest platforms around the world, starting with Amsterdam, branching out into Europe, and perhaps soon enough we'll do Asia and the US. But I think anything can happen if you just have a dream. You just dream it, believe it. And business is tough, it's not easy. You're always gonna meet challenges, and in those challenges, believe in your dreams, believe in your craziness. My idea is a crazy idea of putting my name on a pair of jeans, on a product that everybody loves. Wonke umuntu une-jean, and everybody has experienced a pair of jeans, and it's an emotional item. And for me to put my name, I think it was a crazy thing for somebody to do. And today, this name has changed my life, has changed the lives of people around me, has given hope to people who are hopeless. We employ about 20 people who live in the area, and in those people, what I see on a daily basis is the reason why I created this. And people wear a Tshepo product is why I created the brand. So that's my story, and I hope I wasn't blabbing, I wasn't speaking nyash. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything.
Yo. Yeah, ne. Joe, how much were you selling those masks for? So I don't want to go too much off the topic of what we're talking about, but I just want you to touch briefly on pricing.
Yeah.
And knowing. So we have a conversation with a lot of entrepreneurs that struggle with pricing. You know what you are delivering is quality, but you're scared that maybe you are pricing too high. But if you price too high, people may not buy it. But it's great quality. How did you deal with that? Pricing of your products and really being sure about what you're putting on those products and people buying those products.
Yeah, I think firstly, when I started was because I'm creating a premium brand, so it has to be priced at a premium price.
So please repeat that. You're creating a premium brand?
Yeah, so it has to be priced at a premium price.
Sure.
So, and then I looked at everybody around, like who's charging one for jeans, how much is Levi's, how much is G-Star, how much is Diesel, how much is that, and where do I want to stay? Then I looked into how much it costs for me to make one pair of jeans. And over the years, I think because we're in a fashion business, fashion is one of those places where you can price anything for anything. If the brand is good enough and the quality is great, I can price this at 50,000 Rand and you're going to buy it.
Sure.
And I think also it's confidence, it's believing in yourself. And also people are going to walk out, like you're not going to sell to everyone when you first start. People are going to be like, it's too expensive. And when you try to work around for people, that's where the problem is. What I've learned was when we started going bigger and making more jeans and producing outside, is request up size 28,
Sure.
and then we made them and then nobody came to buy. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like stick to what you know, stick to what you want to do, deliver in the next 50 years, I think, So if your dream is like, you want to build something big and it's at this level, price it from day one, and live that dream. I think, for me, that's what worked.
Sure.
So yeah, we believe in our product and the quality of our product is really up there and it's expensive to make it. So hence the price.
Sure.
The dollar to the rand is something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
The dollar.
The dollar, yeah. It's like it's expensive.
I see he's thinking. In your story, you mentioned that there was a point where you had 64 Rand in your account.
Yeah. Minus.
So bokolot.
Yeah,
a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling when it comes to mental health. We've seen stories and stories, countless entrepreneurs that, business goes down, you go into depression, and then you find something else as an outlet. Some have even taken their own lives when they're going through such a bad season. Talk to us about mental health and what are some of the things that you've done that have pulled you out of that season when it was really dark and things were not going your way and you were depressed?
I think, I had a strong group of friends. All my friends is Weakasi, and we all had crazy dreams. And we all wanted to be Masesi. The first dream that we had was to come to Joburg, meet DJ Tshepo, and after meeting DJ Tshepo, we're going to be famous and rich. That's what we thought.
Sure.
And then we met DJ Tshepo, and then we realized, it's not like that. I think for me, because we're so close to one another. So in the darkest times of our lives, I could say, hey, Spuda, hey, Jules, hey. I could always speak to someone. So for me, I feel like in business, entrepreneurship is very lonely and very tough. And every day is day zero, unfortunately. You know. So when you're an entrepreneur, you need to be able to work on yourself. It's very important. The first thing is work on yourself. Your spiritual health is very important. I'm a man of spirit. So you need to take care of the spirit man. You need to take care of the physical man. Gym, eat the right food. You need to take care of your mental well-being, the stuff that you read, the places that you go to, the conversations that you're having. It's super important because it plays a role in what happens upstairs here. If you hang around people who are of a certain stature, you become that. So for me, it's like I was like that. I never always went into a deep, depressive moment because I had always somebody to pull me out who was very close to me and who always reminded me who I am and what I'm doing. So I think building a strong network of people and building yourself, it's so important. Invest in yourself more than anything else.
Sure. Is that helpful? Yeah? You sit around your friends, but no know it's who would eat a business here? How? Born, no. The power of a circle and having people who can support you and inspire you. Very powerful. All right, so I'm going to open up for... I didn't even say I'm going to open up for questions. I've got 5 hands already that side. All right, so I've got 4 questions. I'm going to open up to 4 people. My sister, because I see your 2. Yeah, please come to the front. Please come. My brother, please come. My brother, please come. Yo, my man, I wonder what you said, eh? With so
did I
many
say?
questions.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah. All right, so, ooh.
Oh, I said come to Amsterdam, yeah. I'm giving tickets to Amsterdam.
You're giving away tickets to Amsterdam.
I'm talking, yay.
That would be lovely, Brandon. It's our birthday today. We could,
Hey, I'll give a voucher. I will give a voucher.
maybe we should write it on the tea thing. I think you were writing as well.
Yeah.
Tshepo, the gin maker, takes
was here.
tea to Amsterdam.
Yo, boy.
All right, so can we use that mic? So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fine. So what I'm humbly asking, please, I don't want to be the bad guy, but I can be the bad guy. Because of time, let's respect time. Who are you? Shoot straight to the question. Are we together? Thank you.
Hi everyone, Dimakazo Tlam is my name. I represent a brand which is my son, Kitso, and we're in the verge of launching his sneaker brand, Kitso Sneaker. He started first with a laundromat. I'm actually shivering because you touched mostly on what we go through, as a brand. Because now we're dealing with challenges of having consignment coming from China to here. We're sitting with time frame that is constraining us. There's a launch that's supposed to happen, and now the guy goes AWOL on us, and we don't know whether we're gonna get this stuff or not. And it's the thing of, what keeps you going. And, your story resonated so much with me because this is not just for me, it's a legacy. It's a brainchild of my son. He's 13. And imagine, I can handle being beaten up, but I have to answer to him to say, you know what, mommy's trying, but there's so much that mommy can do. And thank you so much for speaking your truth because it touches and it resonates with all of us. All the best, Tshepo, and we're so proud of you.
Sure. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Powerful. Truly, truly powerful. Wow. 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 Sure. Mapula.
Yay.
Yeah, stage is yours.
Aku di Tshepo, nna ke nna Mapula. I'm the founder of Cool Crew. Cool Crew ke di roll on tsela tsa bana ne bo mega montlong. I'm the lead. So anyways, I would Tshepo. I heard your story, I heard your journey, and I think it's a journey that most of us as entrepreneurs go into, right? And then you find that people maybe like for example, it doesn't necessarily mean you. Once you guys are here where you are at this point, when we as startups maybe try to collaborate with you guys, le untouchable, le unreachable. So, are you open to collaborations with startups? Not Boshimza, not Bobulelani, who are there already? I'm talking Omongwatla, which are the same quality gene or whatever the case might be, but then wants to collaborate with you. Are you open to collaborate, to such collaborations?
Thanks, Mapula. Before Ricky died, so we in a club together. He was performing, and then after he performs, we chill. And then I was like, yo, Ricky. And then we start talking. We spoke for quite some time. We spoke for an hour and a half. And this was my first time meeting him, right? And he says to me, hey, boy, you must collaborate with the kids. That's one thing. He's like, yeah, you must give the kids a chance, give the kids a chance. I try to collaborate with kids, with most. I think sometimes people come to you when they're not ready. And I think being ready means you know your story, you know what you want to get out of this collaboration. Collaboration, they're important for any brand, but what I've seen and what I've experienced in my life, you end up servicing the guy, the collaborator. If he's not ready, you end up servicing the person, and then it doesn't happen. Some people are not committed. I've experienced those type of people. and there are ones that who are committed, right? But for me, it's like I think where we are is we want to build the Tshepo name so strong that when we open up, when we start opening it up more to the kids, like Ricky said, we have a bigger platform, we have more stores, we have more doors. It makes so much sense, financial sense, and everyone can eat. At the moment, I am collaborating with graphic designers, with designers, young designers. I do a lot of interns in my space. I train them. I've got a program that runs with Livesoft. So every year they bring about 2 or 3 interns, people who want to have work experience. They come to our space, so we train them. So we are doing those things. It's not just that, it's not public. And at the moment, it's not really public, but the public things that we do, they're very curated, they're very nurtured. You know, we're still building a name, and whoever wants to be part of that, there needs to be the right fit. And also, like, I must like them. If I don't like you, I don't know. We can't collaborate, and it's important because it comes out in the product. You know, Gucci, these ones, they were just doing it for money. And then it comes out in the product. When you do something out of love, you see it. And people gravitate towards things that are made of love. Yeah.
All right. So you're still going to be here, brother.
Yeah,
you're
still
not
gonna be
rushing.
here, yeah.
All right. Because of time, we don't want to keep you here for too long. Time is of the essence. I'm going to bring 2 of you. Please come as well, Mr. Stas. So let's shoot straight. Now, my brother, whoa. Just wait. Yeah, so I'm just going to take these 2, and we'll take the last 2. Let's just get the mic. Straight to the question. Thank you so much.
Good day, everyone. My name is Morato. The name of my brand is Sugar Coated by Habiba, which is a modest fashion brand. So my question is, when you decided to scale, how many pieces did you start with? What were the sizes? And what's in the future for Tshepo? And how did you decide to be a standalone designer and not go into retail?
Good question. All right, let's take the other. Or you want to take one, or how do you want to do it? Because I know it might be quite. You want to? You might forget. Okay. All right, not a problem. Let's get the mic. Thank you. Good
First
question.
was
When you decided to scale, how many pieces did you start with in the site?
pieces. So so luckily I went to Amsterdam to study how to make jeans to nurture my craft. Then I came back. I met this factory in Mauritius. Their minimum orders was like 1,200 per style per wash. Yeah, and basically like they can't take you as a brand if you're not guaranteeing them 10,000 pieces a year. So this lady was like, hey, this is my boy. Make sure you open. So they started with me. They started with 250 units. And with sizes, I mean, like, because I was doing a lot of bespoke stuff. So from bespoke, I knew, okay, amachita, I was size 34, I was size 32. So we played around that. But like, it's a journey. You know, it's a journey to figure out the sizes. It's a journey. Unfortunately, you have to invest in it for you to understand where your people are. And also do a survey. Ask your customers what they want. How did I decide? I think my dream was to always become a big name in Africa, and for me to be a standalone is for me to reach that dream, I had to do it alone. You have to be a standalone, and I think I've also learned from some of my friends who were doing brands. They went into retail stores, and when you go into a big retailer, you get consumed. And I didn't want to be a Tshepo wako Markhams or Tshepo wako Woolworths. I wanted to be Tshepo. And then if I go into Woolworths or Markhams or whatever, I'm still Tshepo. I don't lose Tshepo.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move on to our next question. I'll do it, brother. You sit down.
Thank you, Tshepo.
Yeah, relax.
Ladies and gentlemen,
VIP.
Makoti from Makoti Cakes and Projects. Tshepo, my question to you is that I hear that you said you had relationships with your friends, with people who will just call you and say, hey, Tshepo, what do you need? I need an advice, or maybe you can suggest on what if you don't have those people and you're in the business. You don't have those friends you can call and say, I need 1,000, I need this machine to buy. Even though you try how hard, they can see that this girl is going waves, but there's no one. And Tshepo even said at the bank she was in debt. A bank won't give you a loan or any money when you are like that. What is your advice to us entrepreneurs on how we can deal with that situation or what we can do?
Sure.
Thank
Good
you.
question.
I think you've already started, eh? Being in this space opens you up to those type of people. And also being vulnerable. As an entrepreneur, you have to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, come on stage and talk. And you never know, maybe out of this conversation, out of what you've asked, maybe somebody in the audience is here to help you. You know, so always putting yourself out there, I think it's a key to any success. And being vulnerable, you know, walk up to people, send an email to that guy that you think could be your mentor, the CEO of NetBank. Send them an email and tell them, hey, this is my name, I'd love to have a mentor. And those people, they help you navigate your world around being an entrepreneur. I think that's how you build, you know. But I think the most important thing is just putting yourself out there. You can build your friends.
Sure.
Khanyane, khanyane.
Please come, my brother.
Hi everyone. Tshepo. My name is Ngonyama, all the way from Limpopo. I'm a fashion designer. I make these jackets. So I want to ask, because of one of the biggest challenges as designers, I have a team of people who help me sew, but I also want to transition from being sewing at my place and having one of the manufacturers helping me. So how did you transition from being in-house, sewing in-house, then to getting manufacturers helping you with the pattern and also the construction part?
Sure, fashion is tough, dog. Yo, fashion is tough. Eh? I think one, you decide, right? You need to decide, Gucci, are you a manufacturer or you're a fashion designer? You know, like, so if you want to be a designer, you have to, and you don't want to deal with the manufacturing part of things, you need to decide. Make that decision. I think that's the most important thing. First, make that decision. That's how you can transition, you know. Otherwise, you'll find yourself still doing it. And I know, because we are so passionate, we don't want to let go and let other people do our product. That's our biggest challenge as designers. So I think let go, dog. Find a couple of factories. I've got a couple of factories that I can connect you with if you want. But I think the biggest thing is for you maybe is building your name, you know, build your name and build and sell. Design, market and sell. That's what you need to do. Then the design part of things, you can outsource it. If that's what your business, if you want to build your business to that, yeah.
Sure. Our last question.
Good afternoon. Check 1, 2. Good afternoon, everyone. Speaking before you, it is Kagiso Mpatlele. And I have a 9 to 5, which is I've studied internal auditing and I have ventured into risk management, working at the presidential office. But what chose me is something more profound. It's life coaching. So in terms of the life coaching business, I've now ventured into doing seminars and now hosting camps. Now, there's always intrapersonal conflict whenever I want to scale up to say, how do you distinguish between being optimistic to say, let me just do financing, but at the same time, the risk management comes in to say, you need to be financially responsible and calculate your moves. Because I've heard on your story, you spoke about you having to gamble at some point. Now, how do you make the distinguishment between being impulsive and also having to go beyond to say, I want to scale up now? It's about also going after these dreams and going into finance. At the same time, there are chances of you going indebted or going into a bad credit. So how do you just make the distinguishment between having to go after your dreams through scaling up, through financing, and at the same time, playing it safe?
Yeah.
Tough question. Loaded, hey? I think as an entrepreneur, the biggest thing that you have is your gut, right? You have to trust what's in here. You have to trust that small voice that, I think once you trust that person inside, follow that voice, dog. Sometimes you might go in credit, you might follow that voice, Joe. You know, you never know, right? Like, you never know where is it going. It could be. It could go right sideways, or it could go left, or it could go right. But I think also success is guaranteed, as failure, right? Failure and success are guaranteed. If you're gonna play like this, you'll always stay like this. You know what I mean? I don't know if you get me. If you are Saba, uzohlala so. But like if you want to scale up and take it to the next level, you have to take those risks. And you're a risk manager, risk what? Risk? Yeah. Do you understand? You have to have a gut for risk, and you have to have it in you. So believe in your gut, trust it, and take it, dog. Like sometimes, for me, it's like I say to people, if you wanna run a proper business, you must leave your 9 to 5, dog. Luckily, I've never had a salary, so I've never had to be in a place where, hey, should I leave or not? And I understand it's a very deep place that you're talking from. It's a very risky thing to do. But entrepreneurship is all about taking the risk and believe in it. And you're gonna go broke for 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years. Thank you
so much, my brother. All right, that brings us to the end of our conversation with Tshepo from Tshepo Jeans. My brother, thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
I know for sure you've inspired so many people today with your story, your resilience, how you've bounced back, how you've built your brand. Funny enough, we had a Mbaula chat with Khotman Tibus from Kaya, yeah? And he spoke about you this morning. So it speaks to the fact of the brand that you've built, the impact that you've made. And we want to say on behalf of T and Nedbank, continue going, continue pushing. Together, Bekele Beke.
Thank you so
Please,
much.
can we give Tshepo a round of applause? Thank you so much, my brother. Please don't go yet. So what we need a photo first of you just looking straight at the camera. This is one that you're going to use in the Netherlands when you are traveling. And then we've got a gift for you as well. There's a book and there's goodies. Inside those goodies, as I mentioned, we've bought a lot of the products. Sorry, am I in the picture? Are we happy? So what Tshepo has as gifts, we've bought from the exhibitors who are here today to show love to our exhibitors. One more time, a round of applause for Tshepo from Tshepo Jeans.